Less than half of Americans now believe that religion is very important in their lives. And I'm joined today by CBN's Raj Nair. Now, Raj, a couple of these stats that we want to share from Gallup. 47% of Americans in 2025 said that religion is very important in their lives. That is down from 58% in 2012. That's a big dip from 58% in 2012 to 47% in 2025. If you go back to the 1950s and 1960s, this was between 70 and 75% of the population saying that religion was very important in their lives. And 28% of Americans are now saying religion is not very important in their lives. So when we look at these numbers, in light of what we've watched happen since 2023, this quote unquote revival, resurgence, whatever you want to call it, what goes through your mind when you see these numbers?
Okay, I think this is an important discussion, and this is one of those things where I actually have dedicated a large part of my life to understanding this. As you know, Billy, I've led dozens of groups to Israel amongst young Christian evangelicals, and what's going on here? Lord, help me understand what's happening here. And this is obviously an oversimplification about what I'm about to say. But here's what I see. The reason that there's this deconstruction, this leaving, and at the same time, this revival among young people, what's happening here? Here's my perspective. This is one reporter's perspective. A lot of people that I see are leaving what they have experienced as a superficiality, a hypocrisy, a set of rules, a custom, religion that once they ask the questions, once they poke the balloon, everything kind of falls apart because there's no substance behind it. It becomes a ritual, like almost saying like I'm Irish Catholic or I'm this. It almost is like, hey, this is my nationality, or this is what my parents decided to do. There wasn't a discipleship happening in the home. Now, obviously, there are a myriad of other ways or other examples where this is not the case, but in general, it seems like we offshored the tough stuff to maybe Sunday school or, and we negated the deep enriching of the next generation into what it actually meant to be followers of Yeshua. And I think once they get out of school, they are, or even in school, bombarded with messages. But I think you go to 1 Corinthians, right? And it says, Jews demand signs and Greeks look for wisdom, but we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and what? Foolishness to Gentiles. This message, in a lot of ways, comes across as foolishness if you're not bathing in a deep apologetic understanding of what's happening. Like so many of the apologetic questions that I've seen people literally deconstruct their faith for have very, very robust answers. Now, there's difficult questions, the problem of evil, the problem of suffering, but like, how can we trust the reliability of Scripture? That's kind of easy. Like, did these people exist? That's kind of easy. Or like, what do you mean? Like the universe was created in a moment? Like that's kind of easy. But if no one is answering those questions, the world will answer those questions. So I think it's a responsibility for us to really focus on the soil that our children are learning these things from. Because in my opinion, not my opinion, and in God's opinion, unlike Islam, right? Don't ask questions, just obey. Jesus says in Matthew 7, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. For everyone who or knock and the door will be open. What's he say to doubting Thomas? Come here, touch this. It's me. And so to me, what's happening is you are seeing a decline in religion and a revival happening in the same time based on the soil and the depth of the discipleship that is happening in the home. We cannot just say, I am Christian, like I am Armenian, or I am Mexican, or I am Indian. No. Followers of Yeshua, listen, let me say this, and I know this might come across as harsh. Even Satan and demons believe that God exists. That is not what we're called to do. We're not like, oh, we believe you exist. It's to say that Yeshua is Lord. And if he is Lord, then that that means that we have to have deep conviction over sin, deep conviction over, and Lord, impact us, be our rabbi. And if we're not having this daily conversation and this deep understanding and this love of Scripture, then we're just saying, hey, you're Italian. And the second someone comes across and say, actually, bro, you're Irish, it's like, oh, well, darn. So to me, this is a call for us as parents, more than anything, to be discipling our children actively, to let them ask the hard questions, not to be like, oh, that's weird, don't ask that. Let us really be investing in the apologetics, in the biblical wisdom that will equip and prepare people, because at the end of the day, our kids will be faced with really difficult questions, but it's incumbent upon us to really nurture them so that when they do face these objections, when they do face this cultural pushback, they have what I think are very valid responses to those objections. But I'll let you have the last word, my friend.
Yeah, no, I second all that. That's pretty amazing, what you broke down there. And I think it's so true. We also have this secular culture pushing in, obviously, and telling people that faith doesn't matter. And whether they say that explicitly or they say it through content and the focus in that content, when you watch movies, when you watch TV, what is it telling us truly matters? When you sort of bring all that together, it's a worldview, right? It's a secular worldview that has been pushed on people. And if the parents are not stepping up the way you just described, you end up in kind of this weird, disastrous situation where faith is no longer important. Now, the nuns, not the Catholic nuns, but the people who are not affiliated with any religion, that was only 2% of the population in 1948. Right now, I believe it just broke a record, according to Gallup, at 24% of the population are calling themselves in 2025 nuns. That is wild. And until this point, it was between 21 and 22% for a number of years. So even though we saw all these young people come to faith, more people were saying, I'm either an atheist, agnostic, or unaffiliated. And most of those people are unaffiliated. And so there's a lot there that we need to break down and understand. But we'll continue covering this. And Raj, appreciate you joining me today to go through it.